We are all really excited to be here. I mean, we've put a lot of work into this, and we're really happy to be to this point and just to kind of kick back and have this party. This year's online journal is important because in light of the loss of the print version, um, we have sort of united to continue the Aurora tradition and to maintain the opportunity to be recognized as poets and artists and photographers on campus. So I'm really pleased to see the number of people who took initiative to submit to Aurora and to sort of come together in light of the loss of the print version. We actually have a few print versions in the back if anyone would like to take one. They're free. They're yours to kind of have and to keep. So this whole party is for you, fellow writers and artists and everything, to sort of represent us as a community of fresh talent and abilities, diversity across the board. Sharing your personal expression of creativity can be challenging, but no matter where you are at this point, I want you to think of this as a good opportunity seized. And I think that this is sort of kind of one of those stepping stones that are just, carefully crafted by you and something that you can use to sort of, put yourself out there, which is a hard thing to do, especially at this time in, your writing career. I wanted to take a minute to thank some people for making this event possible. Dr. Sean Apostle for letting us use this space to sort of congregate. It's really perfect. I love the Knoll Studio. It's a nice environment and it's a nice atmosphere for this community. So, also I'd like to acknowledge President Whitlock. He's not here. For taking the time to have an interview with us. We did an interview with him. I know that some of you know that he's retiring, so this is his last year here. So he did take the time to have an interview with us, and which was conducted by Lauren Blanchard and Miranda James, who are around here somewhere. And they did a really good job with, oh, there you are. Thanks for raising your hand there. And they did a really good job with that. So we were really happy that he took the time to do that. The slideshow behind me shows some of the original art that was published in the journal this year. There was lots of interesting things, lots of interesting submissions. We got to see very diverse and unique visual elements, here for the journal, and that was a great experience. But these up here are the ones that we've accepted, and we're displaying them for you now. Some of them are actually here. We've got a few of the original artworks here for you guys to take a look at, and that'll be interesting. Okay. Also, we will start an open mic session in about 20-25 minutes, so anyone who wants to read their original works and stuff can sign up back there on the table. Just put your name, the title. If you're doing more than one, just list them down, and then kind of the genre, if it's art, poetry, and then I know that some people want to read or show things that they didn't submit to Aurora, so you can put on there if you submitted it or not. As far as artworks go, you can sign up and come up here and kind of talk about them. I know that we've got a few up here that I would like to hear about. So, anything you'd like to share, just sign up back there, and then we'll give you the chance to do that in a little while. If we've kind of mingled a little bit. I also would like to thank Sam for being here on behalf of EKU Media to videotape this. All the open mic session and the party basically will be on the Aurora website, which is up and running right now. So you can view that, anytime you want to. Also, there is food and drinks in the back. Feel free to gorge on that. There's plenty of it, so it's here for you. So take care to consume all you want. Like I said, about 5:45 we'll start the open mic session, and you can sign up in the back. This is an opportunity to read your original, work, or to, like we've got up here, to talk about your original pieces. I think some of the staff might read some things. I know that I might try to read something. I think that would be a good idea. But I strongly encourage you guys to read poetry and things like that up here. I think it's a good experience to have. I mean, it's kind of hard to get up and, it's one thing to get up and read your work than it is to submit it to someone anonymously. So until then, I want you guys to enjoy the atmosphere, kind of mingle. If you guys have any questions, you can ask us. Everyone on the staff is wearing a name tag, and we'll try to, kind of get to know you guys a little bit, and then I will be back up here in, I don't know, in a little bit, and we'll start the open mic session. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yay!
Hooray.
We're going to get this party started in here. I have the sign-up sheet. Does anyone else want to sign up? You? Yeah. Okay, well, that's all right.
Yeah, you're an experience. I might change my mind.
Okay, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start the open mic, and we're going to start with the list here. And I know that we've got some other people who might, get the courage to read after that. So we'll just kind of, I'll open it up after, we go through the people who've signed up, for anyone who wants to volunteer themselves to read, plus some of the staff wants to read. So I think what I'm going to do is, David, if you're reading something that was submitted onto the site, he's going to display it for us. He's going to be the scroller. He's designated to scroll through the through the site, so you guys will be able to experience that as they're reading it. So I think that right now we're going to start with Scott Smith, who has a couple pieces of art up here, and he's just going to talk about those for a little bit. Normally we do 5 minutes for open mic, but considering that there's not very many of us here, we can just we'll just kind of play it by ear. I feel like you'll get the chance to talk about all your artworks up here. So everyone, let's have an applause for Scott. He's going to go up here and talk about his artwork.
Thank you. My name is Scott Royanetta Smith, student here at EKU. Major's actually marine biology. Art is a hobby. It's just something I got into when I was young, and I always had fun with it. It's been a stress reliever, a way to release emotions, and all kinds of random things like that. At the same time, it just depends. Some of it is just for fun. Some of it is just to experiment with. Some of it I got into it late in life, like charcoal and pastels, but it just depends. The 4 pieces that I did up here that I've got displayed, I got a charcoal piece that I did here. It's I titled it on the internet, I think, as Fall's Last Impression, I think. Actually, to be honest, this was a class assignment that I did in the hour time period that I had. We had a leaf, and we were told to charcoal it. That's it. That's all that piece actually is. And I liked it so much, I ended up keeping it. This piece down here, this is actually just a bunch of Sharpie pen on paper, and I used to, when I was little, I drew mazes all the time. I had fun with it. Except this maze has no beginning, has no end, so you can't actually win. Sorry. But it was just really fun. I got the random idea when I was bored in the middle of class, started drawing this, and then finished it up at home. So that one wasn't too bad. This piece I titled as The First Rose, I believe. That one, I was just playing around with the camera my dad gave me and fooled around with it on Adobe Photoshop and ended up liking it and kept it. And when I submitted all these pieces in here, I thought it would be kind of cool if I just put in a variety of art pieces that I've done, rather different medias or whatever. However, my favorite piece is this one. And this is the walking stick, a walking cane, whatever you want to call it, that I did to basically represent myself. It's a piece of conwood that I found in the middle of my yard after a storm. I apparently did this of January of last year. So, yeah, dear, it was just last year. It has an etching of a wolf on it and a thresher shark, and the cherry blossom design that connects it in between the concept was that it was supposed to be kind of like an ocean wave, except made out of cherry blossoms instead of water. The reason why I did this piece was because of a nickname that was given to me and my family. Lobo, meaning wolf, that was given to me by my mother. And then when I went over to the Philippines and met my grandfather, he gave me the nickname Beluga, which meant shark. So, Lobo Beluga, that represents me. Then, cherry blossom design was just something I came up with a long, long time ago. I carved this out with a Dremel tool, and then I stained it, and that's what gave it the darker color on the etching itself. So there was no wood burning involved at all. But back over at Somerset Community College, you used to be able to see me walking around with this all the time. So, that's my 4 pieces of art. On the slideshow, they're showing a piece that I submitted also. I didn't realize that it got accepted. Was a pastel piece that I did for my father. It was the killer whales breaching. That one I actually did either for Father's Day or for his birthday. I can't remember which. It says on there. But those are my pieces. So thank you for allowing me to have these here.
What did you call that tool that you used to carve the
Dremel.
It's a Dremel.
Oh, it's just a Dremel. The ancient Dremel.
The ancient Dremel.
The ancient Dremel. Okay, thanks, Scott. That was really interesting. I loved your walking stick when I first saw it. I thought that was really awesome.
She said she was going to demand that you bring it so she would
Yeah, but I didn't have to do that, so. Okay, next we have Alex Brooks. He's doing some creative nonfiction. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Babylon and heard Alex read before, but it's awesome, so he can pretty much speak for himself. Here's Alex.
Snap, snap,
Oh, yeah.
like a poetry cafe. It's Dot's Poetry Corner. Hi, everybody. Well, I guess since I have a little bit more time than usual, I thought I would preview these 2 pieces that I'm going to be reading. First off, maybe a brief introduction to me. I'm a communication studies major, and until a few months ago, I thought that I was going to go into theology and becoming a pastor. And then I thought, you know what, since I'm going the poverty route, I might as well go the full way and go creative writing. So I am now doing an English minor with an emphasis on creative writing, which is basically just taking all the creative writing classes. And I'm going to be graduating late, so there you go. It's planned for success. So now the first piece I'm going to read is the one that is going to be in the Aurora. It's called the King James Version. 10 years ago, at the cusp of puberty, when I was attending a private Presbyterian school in town, something happened between me and some kid. I don't remember his name, just that he was white as an Irish sunrise, upper middle class, and wore lots of sweater vests. A cornucopia, even. It was a cool fall day, one with that comfortable sting of a not quite yet winter. The leaves had already changed, and there were dead caterpillars everywhere, purple pools of bug juice peppering the parking lot. The rest of the kids, socially adjusted to each other's presence, were playing foursquare in a dirt pit someplace. I, however, sat by myself on the curb just outside the side entrance and worked on my definitely professional-grade fantasy novella. Sweater Vest plopped himself down beside me, wearing purple on gray argyle, with little squiggles in between that create those argyle within argyle patterns. I remember being impressed by his professionalism. His coiffed hair was slick, dividing itself into oily perpendicular lanes tucked neatly behind his ears like some sort of pudgy Draco Malfoy. He grazed on a bag of Cheetos. "Sup?" he asked. I shrugged and kept on writing. Are polar bears even capable of holding a broadsword? I just didn't know. "I'm going to church tonight. You want to come?" Still looking down and away from him, I reply, "I already go to church. My dad's a pastor." SV smiled. There's a tinge of orange. "We're going to hit a car." I blinked, then looked over at him. "What?" He nodded excitedly. "Yeah, the deacon spray painted a car really red, and we're going to let people hit it with a sledgehammer for $5 every time. We're naming it Satan." "What, Satan?" "The car. It's a Chevy from the 80s. I looked away. Huh. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Did you know the King James Version is the only true word of God? The mood whiplash nearly threw me off my concrete perch. I stared at him. He nodded emphatically. It's true! I squinted, but we use the NIV in class every day. His cheekbones brimmed with pride. I sneak my Bible in and read it in secret. I blinked in his general direction. I don't think that's something you really need to sneak in. Nick brings in his KJV all the time. SV frowned. Really? I shrugged. Yeah, I think so anyway. Big letters in gold on the side. Oh. He grunted, then breathed in deeply. I think the teachers are sinning because they don't have everyone read from the King James Version because it's the only word of God and everything else is corrupted because of deviations from the Masoretic texts. I looked away from him and out toward the horizon, my line of sight dotted with dead caterpillars. Then I stood, tucked my notebook under my armpit, and looked down at Sweater Vest. I don't know most of those words. I walked 15 feet away from him, found another patch of concrete, and plopped myself down. As I looked out the side of my eye, I could see him still. That was the first time I ever heard someone say that the King James Version was the only one and true Word of God. And every single time I see one of those little bumper stickers you see on the highway every once in a while, I just look at it and smile and remember Sweater Vest. Thinking of him now, oh boy. And then the second piece I'm going to read, many of you have heard, well, maybe one of you, I don't know how many of you go to the Babylon readings or not. They're amazing. Like, you can come out, even if you think that, like, we need people to read. We do have a lot of people who read, but I was a first-timer. I was received very warmly, and you get to eat delicious Mediterranean food, so there's that too. I think it's being held on the 2nd of December, coming up, starting at 8. Am I right? For those of you who know? Okay, great.
First Thursday every month.
Yes, you know better than I do.
The first Thursday of every month.
There you go, first Thursday of every month. And actually that's where I premiered this piece. I had not read it out loud any place in public before, and if you guys have never heard the word brony before in your entire life, you are going to receive an education. You know what I'm talking about. What's your name?
Robert.
Robert. You know what I'm talking about, Robert. Yeah, okay. Alright, so this piece is not in the Aurora, but I'm looking for a home for it right now. It's called Friendship is Witchcraft. 2 years ago, I was hanging out my university's art and drugs dorm. You know the one. I was sitting by the front desk catching up with some old hipster friends of mine from freshman year when I see these 3 bearded guys bring down a laptop. They're grinning. Again, it's that dorm, so I don't think much of it. Figure they're at a 6 out of 10 and are on a giggling spree none of them will remember. They plop themselves down on a couch and flip open their laptop. Suddenly, I hear something unexpected from their corner of the lounge. I stop and listen. It's the last thing I ever expect to hear coming out of a laptop being watched by 3 men. A sound that haunts me to this very day. I hear a dulcet soprano singing, "My little pony, my little pony, ah." I spasm, like my body has discovered a violent foreign presence and is rejecting it from my ear canals. I recover, then tenuously make my way to these 3. They spot me, look up from their computer, and start grinning. I stand before them. Hey guys. They bro nod in my direction, that subtle uplift of the chin. I shuffle. So, My Little Pony, huh? One of them starts laughing, deep belly laughs from a sizable gut. Yeah, dude. Ponies, man. I wave my hands about in a sloppy figure 8. So are you guys high right now? Because that would explain everything. They bellow, rolling around on the couch, faces reddening. Nah, not yet, dude, says one in between cackles. I'm highly dubious. One of them breaks away from their merrymaking and looks over at me. All right, here's the short version, man. The other two suddenly stop laughing and sit up straight like a family at mass. The one speaking holds up his index finger. 1, it's not My Little Pony. It's My Little Pony. Friendship is magic. 2, it isn't just us. There's like thousands of college guys watching this show. 3, 3, we aren't kidding. We aren't watching this because of the irony. We genuinely like it. And 4, we didn't want to like it, but really, found ourselves just, watching it. Man. I gape. Well, wow. I regain some measure of composure and smile thinly. This has to be a joke. I back away slowly and tap an invisible watch on my wrist. Hey guys, sorry I have to jet, but I have class in 5. See you around. They all laugh. Sorry, we freaked out, bro. There's free episodes all over YouTube. Watch it. I leave, then huff, stomping my way to nowhere in particular. It's a show designed for little girls. Little girls. Girls younger than my little sister. There has to be something sick in their motivation, or they're lying, or something. It can't be that simple. I'm not going to do it. 4 hours later, I take a deep breath and sit down at my desk. I open my laptop. After navigating to YouTube, I type in immediately, YouTube, thinking it's self-helpful, suggests My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Episode 1, Part 1. I take another deep breath. I press enter. The first result has 3 million views. My eyes bulge. I click. Immediately, my eyes and ears are assaulted by visual and oral diabetes. There's pastel colors everywhere, and there's color-coordinated magical miniature horses, and they're playing with a beach ball. And there's a sun god pony and a moon god pony, and they start having a civil war, and then the theme song comes on, and my body and soul cringe into a tight ball. And then Twilight Sparkle the unicorn and her dragon assistant get assigned to watching over the 1000th anniversary of Celestia's overthrow of Nightmare Moon, to be hosted in Ponyville, in which Celestia will raise the sun with her magic, and then Celestia tells Twilight to make new friends, and she's like, no way, I'm trying to save the world here, that's stupid. But then she's forced to meet the rest of the cast, and then there's this awesome pony named Rainbow Dash who can fly at Mach 10 without turning into a cloud of horse meat, and then everyone gathers in Town Hall to worship Celestia, and then Nightmare Moon escapes from Moon Prison, and then part 1 is over. I stare at my computer screen. I click part 2. That's it. I'm not kidding, it is all free online. Season 3 premiere was last week. It was pretty good. The villain was kind of it was good. But anyway, I guess that's all I have for now. Maybe I can see if there's something else I can read later.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex Brooks. That was hilarious. Okay, so now I'm opening the floor up for any volunteers. Would anyone like to volunteer to read today? Maybe just me, I guess. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know how conceited it is to read at your own party, but I'm going to do it anyway, just for kicks. My name is Brittany Dean, by the way, for those of you who don't know who I am. I'm the managing editor, and I've been writing for, I don't know, a long time. I used to write dreams down. I don't know if that's considered creative nonfiction or not. But I kind of started when I was young, and I like to write creative nonfiction. I think because I think real life's really interesting, and that's what I prefer to write about. Plus, I mean, you know, making stuff up is just, it just seems so easy, doesn't it? Okay, so what I'm going to read is a lyric essay I wrote for my creative nonfiction class this semester, which Jerry and Abigail are in, and they have read this before. So, just a brief introduction. It's called Monty. This is about my 1997 Monte Carlo, who is deceased now. Actually, a year ago in September, I wrecked it, so which you'll get to hear all about that. So, this is called Monty. My first car was a 1997 Monte Carlo. When it was given to me by my mom's brother, it was a shell. The dull paint was more silver than gold, mostly dirty, but nothing the rain wouldn't take care of. It didn't run, the engine was MIA, but it had 2 doors, 4 tires, and a false bottom in the center console that concealed a secret compartment. The day it was towed into my cul-de-sac, it was like watching Jimmy Page galloping in on a thundering black stallion. All I wanted to do was drive the Monty. I didn't even know where I would go, but I'd go anywhere. But I'd go there anyway because I could. I just had a birthday and got what Mom liked to call my license to kill, and I was ready to use it. I quickly arranged to buy a new engine for it, placing the final piece of the puzzle with a cherry picker. The engine was set, and I had its life in the palm of my hand, the one and only key. No other key would start this car. My key had a chip embedded in it like a computer, and the only way to start the Monty was to have that key. I swung the driver's side door open and slipped inside, letting the weight of the solid door seal itself up behind me. My quick breaths mingled with the ringing silence of the empty car. With a shaky hand, I lifted the key to the ignition, dropped the key on the floorboard, quickly recovered it, and then started it up. Monty roared to life, and the vibrations the engine gave off were like a smoker's heartbeat after the 5K. It was alive. Years later, I still drive the Monte Carlo, and every time I start it, it feels like the first time. As I drive the back roads that cut across the Kentucky countryside, my eyes focus on the outside world. 4 tires grounded, hands on the wheel, I feel the expansiveness of nature around me. The harmony of horse farms and land are what attracts me. The hills ebb and reach, the valleys flow and fill with the haze of fog in early morning. It seems that no matter how long I travel the rural road, interruption seems impossible. There's something authentic about watching the dimensions slip by fast without much thought about where the road will go. Lost in a mini universe where the creek falls close by like a friend and the hidden parts don't seem so sudden or violent. Every bend is an introduction and a gradual release. The country is gracefully independent of the crowded city, and the stars only shine for the open skies. Time catches up and lush greens of dense trees decay into vibrant oranges and reds. All things fall in and out of place. Winter reaches out and clasps a heavy hand on the hills of the horizon. The landscape becomes frosted and sparkly, and the icy sky blends in with the uninterrupted snow, and it looks like a perfect universe encased in glass. A sea of oak trees still clinging to yellows, reds, and oranges glimmer with a golden aura in the late afternoon sun. If you go a little ways outside of Kentucky, outside of almost any Kentucky town, one can appreciate natural beauty in its most eternal form. The countryside is a great asset and escape. Small houses nestled in valleys or protruding from endless farmland dotted with cows create a scene only worthy of the naked eye. I drive the Monty over the sweeping curves and sharp turns with precision, staying on the right side of the double yellow lines and keeping my eyes ahead of the curve. I light a cigarette and toss the lighter in the empty passenger seat. It's the most peaceful I've felt all day. The shoulders of old, large rocks struggle to prevent the rain from washing away the land. The wall rushes by as I urge my steed to hustle. A sharp turn ahead prompts me to hug the shoulder. Pulling a little to the right, I anticipate the rush of an oncoming vehicle flying by close enough to touch. Suddenly, a jolt. It ripples from the very heart of the Monty, and the current shocks the marble right out of my mouth. I've hit that other car. I hit the wall. The engine fell out. I'm in control. As I ease the brake down, the Monty shudders to a halt. I try to start the car again, but my key gets stuck in the ignition. I can't coax it out. I can't rip it out. It just welds itself in there, never depart from the Monty, and I wish I could be that key. My passenger side tires, front and back, are flat. Further inspection reveals that they are ripped to shreds. Parts of the metal rims are missing, and my eyes travel slowly down the body of my broken car, and I can see the twisted, missing pieces strewn behind me like a breadcrumb trail. My gut sinks at the sight like it's a blood trail instead. My mind is blank. There's nothing to think and nothing to feel in this moment. No witnesses, No life for miles, just me and my dead car. I walk a little ways down the road, not sure what to do. There isn't any cell phone service, and I cut all ties when I left town without a single see you later. The wall imposes on me as I walk on, shoulders dragging the pavement when I spot something strange in the road. A large flat rock jutting about 2.5 feet from the grass lay camouflaged against the worn gray road. The culprit, I assume. I'm sitting there innocently, barely moving or scratched by my 55-mile-per-hour collision. It's hard to be pissed at a rock. I felt so unlucky to have been passing that oncoming car at the moment that I would miss this fatal mistake, that rock. I lift the hazard out of the road and drop it in a pile of other godforsaken rocks. Feeling stuck and hopeless out here, I continue my journey to town on Somberfoot. Okay, thanks guys. Is there anyone else who would like to read? Feeling a little inspired? No? It's unfortunate. Okay, well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. We're going to hang out here and mingle and eat some more food, so you're welcome to stay. If anyone has a change of heart and wants to share, then just let me know and that option will be available for you. No. David? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, David Neal is our website designer. He's a poet. Are you reading poetry today?
Yep.
He's reading poetry today. So, everyone, let's clap for David Neal.
So, yeah, I'm David Neal. About to graduate this December with English with a concentration in creative writing. And I have a few poems that I was going to revise, but a lot of stuff happened with the website, didn't have time. So, Abigail was in that workshop that destroyed these, but I get to read the older versions before I tear them apart. So, go ahead and start with this one. It's called A Mighty Sting. 8 p.m. on a summer Monday, what else could be my wish? Cradled by your rough, wispy fingers, comfortably pressing me against your felt underside, my sickly mind spinning, just as you want. The dizziest wails, I'm invincible. Finicky chills flow towards folly, pumping thick, tasting vicious. Poison fangs wrought by drifting memory creep closer to my core. Silk scratches stretched across my skin, echo numbly that I'm invincible. Hollowing veins ring with harsh regret, crushed before the fall, crusted hearts never to thaw. Betrayal punctures so smooth and true, pierced cleanly by your call. The draining reverberates nightfall. Dense webbing robs from me my breath. Rotten lungs wheeze so small, fading sight becomes my all. Then I read one more from that workshop. It started as a prose poem, but I got from the workshop I should turn it into, give it some line breaks and stuff, so gonna do that. Maybe try and reflect that while I'm reading it. It's called Just a Fool. That's gonna change too. Everyone hated that title. This pearlescent dream swirls closer to me. The tree's roots seek depth when quenching rain is just a memory. Still, I find it easier to ebb and flow as the cosmos deem proper. My molten heart cools with each beat, tempering its wiles proves less effective as it compresses into granite. Perhaps I should hide and preserve the smoldering chambers. A hefty burlap sack I could keep in the attic for decades. It would sit there, yearning to beat in my sunken chest. And one day when my soft gray beard touches the splintered wood of my porch, I'd remember. I would retrieve it and blow off dusty cobwebs, pointless creations of bored creatures. Just like that, it would be for me. Like I never left. Better than when I left. I would shove it in through this old breast cavity and it would set me aflame. Molten lace would spill and spit flares. I would writhe in a smoky pain, yet feel so purely alive. I'm alive, my old withering voice would fumble to scream. But my heart would be too ferocious and my body too flimsy. I would feel myself fading. The fire would settle, and the molten lace would morph into pungent stone. And as to lose everything I have known, I would weep for all the pain I had missed these past, soggy, uneventful decades. I've got one more I wrote recently, not in a workshop. No one's ever seen it before. You guys are the first to hear it. So I've been watching this show called Samurai Champloo. And it has this, it's kind of a historical fiction of Edo period of Japan. And it kind of has a hip-hop feel to it. And it really inspired that, tone kind of inspired me to spill this out. So it's called Commodity. They claim me psycho, say I've lost reality, say the folds of my brain don't retain balance or any sense of moral fiber, like the fiber between my teeth, served from spoon dipped deep into a bowl I proclaim as happiness. What were you saying? I don't have time to let molecule collide into molecule, repeat until your filthy slurred words fill up my ear, reach deep into the canal and grasp every thought that reeks of anarchy, left bleeding for what was once called me. Thieves disappear when the fog grows dense, but I'll sprint. Every ounce will spill out my pores. Come running, spirit through your bowels like a battle cry. My roar will protect the sons and daughters hidden behind all our eyes that cry in freedom. They cut me down, cleave to echoing bones. Those bones they'll whisper, never forget me, never let sight fade, because they frolic in that shadow of where you've lost focus. And when they devour it in their weathered maw, it will vanish as I have, and you can't let it die.
Okay, anyone else would like to read? Volunteers?
Hear about the rest of the staff, so we know something about you. Did I miss it?
No. Well, we could do staff introductions if you'd like to do that. I've already introduced myself. I'm Brittany, and okay. Well, I guess we're just going to. If no one else wants to read or anything, no.
I do have another piece, but it's kind of rough.
It's kind of rough. What do you mean?
Kind of rough.
Is it hilarious?
No.
Okay. Do you have? Is it printed out? Do you have?
No, it isn't right now. Try to not.
It? Okay. Well, we might pass on that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. It's,
Lauren, were you gonna? No? Okay. Are you gonna do it?
do it.
Please.
No, I'm not rapping, so it's not gonna happen. Okay. All right. Well, everyone enjoy the party. Okay. Thank you.